Namaskar. Welcome to Vision of Asia Voice of the Community and welcome to 2021. The new year has started and we are happy in a way that we have left 2020 behind. Hopefully, as we move forward, we have less challenges to face, and some challenges posed for us by COVID-19 started receding with the arrival of vaccine. And I'm sure many of you have already taken it, and many of us are going to take it in near future. We all want to live with peace, harmony, and the sense of mutual respect is very important. With respect for each and every one of you, on behalf of ITV Gold family, once again I want to express our gratefulness for your continued support, and we wish a lot of good things to unfold in your lives. With that, the joy of beginning something new and the enthusiasm of reshaping our lives keeps life more interesting. Coming back to today's Vision of Asia weekly edition, here are some of the top stories that we'll be sharing with you. Chhaya CDC presented a virtual holiday event, and author and TV host Padma Lakshmi also participated. We'll bring glimpses of that, and in our weekly segment with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh, a look at 2020 in analytical way. Suman Raghunathan discusses US politics and immigrant communities in New York. In 2020, we have lost many important friends, family members, and well-known personalities. Our own legendary immigration attorney, Michael Phulwani, is also not with us anymore. A tribute to him in today's Vision of Asia. And then we have young athlete host holiday bake sale fundraiser, and that is with the traditional Indian sport Mallakhamb. Mallakhamb Federation is working very in a very dynamic fashion. A report on that, and then we'll conclude with uplifting message of Viswayogi Viswamjee Maharaj on Datta Jayanti. So all is coming up right after these short messages. Stay with us.
मेरी से परनीत आ जाओ ना तो सही ऐसी मन की है सच्ची तुम हो सितारों की परे हुई गलती.
Hello and welcome. My name is Reena Shah, and I am so happy you all are here with us tonight to be a part of Chhaya's holiday soiree. It has been Chhaya's tradition to have a get-together at the end of the year to celebrate our accomplishments, to look toward the future, and to thank everyone who has supported us. Although we cannot be with you in person, we are with you in our hearts and, of course, on your devices. For 20 years, Chhaya CDC is an organization that has been serving all New Yorkers with expertise in aiding South Asian and Indo-Caribbean communities in the areas of housing rights, economic empowerment, small business support, and providing opportunities for immigrant and marginalized voices.
The thing that inspires me most about working at Chhaya is the multitude of different ways that we're able to help members of our community.
I work at Chhaya because Chhayan are dedicated to provide service that our community are in need.
I'm able to connect learners to a variety of resources.
Working at Chhaya inspires me because of its passion and dedication to fight against injustice. I'm inspired by the passionate and hardworking staff.
The people that I work with truly care for the community.
I work for Chhaya because it's one of the only organizations dedicated to helping the progression of Indo-Caribbeans.
And as someone who did not grow up here, I understand what it's like to build new roots and establish a home for yourself.
I want other communities and other folks to have the resources my parents and my family wasn't able to have growing up, whether it's housing stability, economic justice, or overall building power in our communities.
Chhaya is an organization that's all about community.
We speak your language.
আমরা আপনাদের ভাষায় কথা বলতে পারি।
আমরা আপনাদের ভাষায় কথা বলি।
हामी तपाईँको भाषा बोल्छौँ।
हम आपकी भाषा बोलते हैं।
ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਦ ਲਈ ਇੱਥੇ ਖੜੇ ਹਾਂ।
আমরা আপনাদের জন্য এখানে আছি।
छाया तपाईहरुको लागि यहाँ छ। धन्यवाद।
Chhaya está aqui para ti.
Chhaya kailangan chedede yore.
Chhaya ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
We are here for our community.
We are proud that we have been able to help thousands fight for their rights, fight eviction, fight foreclosure, navigate a daunting credit system, find resources and support for their small businesses, and navigate the immigration system and more. We are proud that we have been a steady voice fighting for the inclusion of South Asians and Indo-Caribbeans in public policy. Yet, this pandemic has brought into focus the immense amount of work ahead of us and the need to continue to respond to the changing needs of our community. Over the last 8 months, we were able to pivot our services to emergency relief. We distributed over $600,000 in cash to families in need, and with our partners, distributed food to thousands of households, supported small businesses in navigating the little help that was available, helped tenants apply for rent relief, and assisted those who've lost jobs with unemployment applications, all while continuing to advocate for systemic change. As we brace ourselves for the second wave of the pandemic, we are committed to remaining strong and present for our community members who need us. We will continue to do everything to bring relief and to continue to fight for systemic change. Thank you again for your support.
Hi everyone, I'm Padma Lakshmi and I'm here in support of Chhaya, CDC's relief efforts. Chhaya has been working tirelessly during COVID to help Indo-Caribbean immigrants as well as South Asians on mortgage relief resources, sometimes delivering direct cash, delivering groceries and food and supplies in conjunction with other organizations, educating people in the community about evictions and raising rents. They do such good work and we need to help them because throughout COVID, they've been doing an extraordinary job for our community. They also helped the 2020 census safely account for all the people in Jackson Heights and in our community. And as we know, filling out the census and accounting for everyone who lives in our area is really, really important because that is what's going to decide what funds and resources the community gets. Queens is very dear to my heart. When I was in kindergarten, my mom and I moved to Elmhurst, and Jackson Heights isn't just a food hub for me. It's a place that makes me feel like home. So please donate and help Chhaya do the extraordinary work that they do for all of us who need it.
Thank you so much, Padma Lakshmi. Everybody, please give it up for DJ Rekha.
Check, check, check. What's up, everybody? How you doing tonight? I just want to give a big shout out to Reena Shah. Reena is an accomplished stage and screen actress, dancer, choreographer, singer, voiceover artist. She's toured with music as a dancer and bhangra instructor. She will be next seen on screen with Geeta Mallakhamb feature film India Sweets and Spices. Find Reena at dancingreena.com. and on Instagram at Dancing Rena.
What happened in 2020? When we look back, there are some events which draw our attention, and almost all of us can never ever forget the way COVID impact changed our lives, the way we celebrated, the way we connected with each other, the economic state individually as well as economy of the world also changed. Analytical look at some of the important events of 2020 with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh in this special weekly program. Namaskar, I'm Ashok Vyas, and this is the final show of this week with Padma Shri Dr. Sudhir Parikh, and we have a lot to catch up from what we have been through. And I am honored, and it is my joy to welcome Dr. Parikh to this weekly conversation. Namaste, Doctor.
Namaskar.
So this year taught us a lot of lessons. If we pick the top three from your point of view, what comes to your mind?
Well, I think first one is a pandemic of COVID-19. That's number one. Number two, it's election, USA election. And number three, the whole world, economy of the world affected by the pandemic.
Okay, so these were the major events that shaped our world this year. But if we go deep in terms of the lesson which came our way from COVID, what would you say this taught about life?
Well, it taught about life that life, one cannot take life for granted. Always God has its way to teach us that life is not as simple. Do not forget me, and so we'll make sure that you will get a challenges, and you have to deal with that challenges. That time when we deal with the challenges, and when the challenges are very severe and very kind of horrifying, like pandemic, we always then start more believing in the God and superpower. And I think that's the lesson one should learn. And the other lesson to be learned, that everyone has to act responsible way, follow the guideline of the CDC or scientist. And if you do that, it's easy to come through this kind of pandemic. And now we can see that within less than a year, we got even vaccine, which will end this pandemic.
So I hope what you are saying is the way things unfold for us. But when you were saying that people start believing more in the superpower, I was just thinking that President Trump was also blaming China for this. And then we also have many countries looking at China with very, very intense suspicion. So the conclusion is, was it man-made or was it the doing of superpower where as a physician, as a scientific temperament tells you to look at it when we respond to this challenge?
Of course, it is a man-made. It is. I'm the scientist, so I know that it's man-made. But even man-made thing, how to overcome that, how to cope up with that challenges, and how to come out of that challenges, it is our responsibility, and that's what lesson we all learn. We change our life almost 360 degree. I mean, we all stayed indoor for last 8 to 9 months now, and we learned to live life without being outdoor, without being more social, without being not seeing the people, and not having a gathering for the entertainment, parties or wedding or whatever, and we all survived. And I think that's the lesson to be learned, that in the life there is always ups and down, and one should know how to or one should behave in tandem with the ups or down.
So talking about ups and downs, and you very nicely defined our need to stay indoors, and everybody keeping to himself, herself, or to a limited circle, so no large gatherings for entertainment, etc., which means more introspection. So I look at the both sides of the coin, Dr. Saab, in terms of people's response. And we also heard that cases of domestic violence increased because people were in the same proximity. So ultimately, it is how you are structured inside in terms of taking whatever adversities or challenging circumstances come. So if I may request you to share your insight on what is it that can prepare people in 2021 or in future, if there are any adversities, that they respond in appropriate manner.
Well, I mean, since as you know, that two vaccines are in the market, they rolled out. Almost over 2-3 million people got the even first dose of the vaccine, including myself. So I think this vaccine, we know as a scientist, this vaccine, once if 75 to 80% people will take it, then the pandemic will end. But that doesn't mean that this kind of calamity again doesn't happen. Usually pandemic doesn't happen that often. Pandemic happens, we suffer, we go through the all the pain and suffering, then vaccine comes. So that's the kind of mitigation. And once mitigation happens, we all are back to normal. And hopefully we will be in normalcy by summer or fall next year.
Once again, I think everyone would like to see happen the way you said it. But what happened is a lot of uncertainties came over at our doorsteps. And politically speaking, if you look at the way President Trump responded to COVID, also affected his chances of re-election. And talking about American economy, election in the light of COVID, what are your impressions?
Well, of course, the handling of the COVID is always a major factor in election. And win or lose happens because if you have handled properly or not handled properly, or even if you are handled properly, whether you perceive to be handling properly, that is more important. I mean, whatever the way, because everyone has their own way of handling any situation. So I think President Trump's handling of the COVID pandemic was perceived as not very good, and that's why probably he suffered in the electoral voting. But again, also we should give him credit that usually we know as a scientist that vaccination takes almost minimum 2 to 5 years to develop. And here we develop vaccination within 7 to 8 months. And that's because of funding from the federal government to the pharmaceutical company. So I think with the bad, we should also give some credit to Trump administration, the way they thought, they dispersed the money in timely fashion and encourage the pharmaceutical company to develop the vaccine, which usually in medicine, for any disease, any vaccine takes minimum 3 to 5 years to develop.
No, economy to communication through media. And President Trump very, very frequently talked about fake media. And I may share my impression. He adopted a confrontational attitude towards media in general. He was not going down, or he was not trying to play to them or be friendly with them, etc. Do you think that also adversely affected, or if he would have adopted the second approach, whereby you try to bring them to good books by at least being open to them? So, to sum it up, his style of communication, and in your view, what is the ideal way of handling communication through media by a leader?
Well, I mean, of course, ideal way is to make everybody inclusive and work together. But again, after saying that, it all depends upon how both the parties are treating each other. If media is not fair or in reporting what administration is doing, and then probably administration has all right to confront, because the truth has to go out to the public, and therefore there's nothing like one is right or other one is wrong. Only thing is, all depends upon what circumstances, or whether media is taking him out of context all the time, or media is reporting fairly. It depends on those kind of things. And same thing, media also has to act very responsible way. Should treat the office of, I mean, you may not like the person, but you have to treat the office of the presidency fair way, and not to report out of context all the time. I mean, sometimes, yes, I mean, that's how you make the news, but you cannot have everything out of context each time, every time, and change the narration of the subject. So I think it goes both ways. So there is nothing like one is right or wrong. It all depends upon the personality of the person, and and his decision, or his or her decision to how to do the narration, whether to control the story by administration or control the story by media.
Look like moving away from President Trump, because the usual stuff that happens, like president's pardoning of certain people, that has also happened.
Well, that is his every president's constitutional rights, and I'm here in USA for last 45 years. Every 4 years, when president pardons somebody, one or two or three or four people always question mark.
Right. But that happens. Yeah, but that generally happens at the end of the presidency, generally.
Yeah, but I mean, it means that during this phase of the presidency, because they have to pardon before inauguration, right?
Right.
So I mean, whether a week before or week later doesn't make any difference. But always this pardon list is always have some controversy. I still clearly remember Bill Clinton pardoned one fellow. What's his name? Mark something. He was fugitive from the USA. He did a big scandal, and he was living in the Switzerland, and then he was pardoned. The same thing. There was one movie director who raped a teenager, 13 years old girl, and then he was punished for jail, and he fled the country, and he was pardoned. So I mean, there are always incidents. Out of say 50 number of pardons, if 5 or 10 may be controversial, and of course we have to make a voice for that. We have to make a noise for that. We should protest our objection, but constitutionally, president has right to do that.
So moving from constitution to ethics to life in general, as we conclude today's session, any New Year resolutions, any specific advice that you may want to share with our viewers?
Well, I mean, the New Year resolution, I mean, in short term, everyone has to follow the CDC guideline. Please go ahead and get the vaccination whenever you get an opportunity to get one. Do not hesitate to get the vaccination. It's very safe. And third thing is, I'm glad that democracy is still working and kicking and really doing good. So we all should commit ourselves to democratic values, democratic countries, and be happy.
Absolutely. And so happy New Year, and you're concluding a specific message for 2021 for our viewers.
Well, dear friends, on behalf of Parikh Worldwide Media, ITV Gold 24/7 oldest TV channel, as well as myself and my family, I would like to wish you all Happy New Year, happy and prosperous New Year, and healthy New Year, and be nice to each other, be honest, be focused, and work hard. And that's my message, New Year message to all my friends here in USA as well as in India. Thank you. God bless America. God bless India. And God bless Indian American community. Thank you.
Suman Raghunathan has been a very, very powerful voice for immigrants, being a part of many organizations leading from the front. What is happening in terms of the changes which we are expecting to happen in American politics, how that is going to affect immigrants. Suman Raghunathan discussed all that with Aditi Lamba. Here's a part of that conversation.
This pandemic has definitely brought in disproportionately, impact to certain communities versus the others. The Black and brown communities have definitely faced a lot in terms of the ramifications of the economic and healthcare crisis of COVID-19. How have you sort of looked at it? And when you look at communities of color or immigrant communities, how have you looked at their journey this year, dealing with both aspects of the economic crisis and the healthcare crisis? And, what are some of their concerns according to you?
I think it's been a devastating year for Black, brown, immigrant, and working class communities. I think at the same time that hundreds of thousands of individuals who come from communities that have felt the impact of structural racism for hundreds of years, at the same time that they continue to live that reality, they are losing their jobs. There has been non-existent, for the most part, support from the federal government, let alone state and local governments, and their communities are decimated. So I think it has been a devastating year for so many different communities, and I think only is serving to underscore the extent to which COVID-19 is reinforcing the ways that structural racism is manifesting in our society.
Do you think, or do you believe that immigrant rights were perhaps impacted this year, threatened, or ignored?
I think they were all of the above. I think they were impacted. I think they continued to be threatened, especially when you had a president who was referring to Asian immigrants as vehicles for the virus. And when you also looked at the unconscionable way that so many immigrant communities were absolutely categorically excluded from any type of aid. If you are undocumented and you are an essential worker and you are helping to keep your city, your community, your locality going, how is it possible that the federal government's aid does not extend to you? Again, I think it's a moment of yet another unfair exchange of this country wanting and needing the support and labor and heart of so many immigrant communities and being unwilling to return that support to them.
And a lot of these immigrant communities don't even have proper access of where they're living to resources that other communities may have. This brings me to the fact that you had just mentioned the word systemic racism. We have had a discussion on it before as well. My question to you is, where do you see that discussion going in 2021? And the incoming administration, how much responsibility do they have to make sure there is less racism, discrimination, and hate crime in the nation?
I think it is incumbent upon the incoming administration to continue to acknowledge just how much needs to be done with respect to addressing structural or systemic racism. I don't think it is going to be solved in the next 4 years. I don't think it's something that government alone can do, but it is something that government needs to signal its willingness to lead on. And I think that the incoming administration has much to focus on with respect to its actions rather than just its words. And, there is much to undo with respect to addressing structural racism. And we're going to see what that looks like with respect to the policies, legislation, and executive orders that the new administration will be able to enact and secure.
Welcome back. You're watching Vision of Asia Voice of Community on ITV Gold. Are you equally excited to welcome New Year with a new rhythm and add your additional beauty and glory to each and every day? That excitement keeps us going, and the excitement of being together helps us overcome all the obstacles on our path. We appreciate your continued support and love for ITV Gold. I would like to recollect with you every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. We bring with a lot of love this program, Vision of Asia, and weekly edition of Vision of Asia comes to you every Sunday at 11 a.m. Where we are meeting today. Thank you very much for being a part of this extended family of Vision of Asia. Stay with us. We'll be right back after these short messages. Legendary immigration attorney Michael Phulwani was once synonymous with the field of immigration. Many people know him through his television shows, through his newspaper articles. He was recognized, awarded by many organizations, and was instrumental in initiating important organizations like FIA. Community members paid tribute to Michael Phulwani, who was born on 28th September 1936 in Pakistan. He left his mortal frame on 25th December 2020. Here is a tribute to that legendary figure.
Well, Michael was a great friend, very close friend of mine. Me and Michael, we worked together since 1984. He was very active with us in the FIA. That time we fought about immigration and family immigration and all those issues. And we took the buses to the Washington, D.C. and under leadership of Michael Phulwani. And he was the attorney for immigration in our community. And he has a very long-lasting relationship with our newspaper and TV. He wrote a column on the immigration and educated a whole community and about immigration and about visas and about passport and so forth for last almost 35 years. Every week he used to write a column advising our community about different subject of the immigration. And he was really a great attorney. He helped quite thousands of our community members to get the visa, to how to appeal for a visa and so forth. He was a great leader, great human being, very caring and very emotional, very appreciative of the people. And I think he was really a people's person. And I missed him personally as a friend, and also our media group and the whole community will miss him dearly. God bless him. God bless his soul and rest in the peace. And we wish our prayers are with his family And God bless family as well as God bless Michael Phulwani. Om Santi, Om Santi, Om Santi.
In life, you always should be open to take any good information coming in and that helps you in the life. This is doing anything in life you have gone through from your childhood, from your school, from your college, with your parents. All those things help. All those things help. So when I came here, now let's talk about 19th.
Okay, so I'll interrupt you one more time.
Yes, yes.
Before you left India,
Yeah.
what was the reaction of your father, your family members, and any apprehension as to what will happen in future?
Unfortunately, my father had died at that time, just about a year or two before that. So I think the money-wise also, maybe America may be a good thing. I can help my family more. Plus, I wanted to do something more than working in a government office. I mean, I'm getting good salary, but there's nothing I can see going up very fast or doing something that I want to do. I have to just work their job, whatever it is, Although it was interesting also, going to the different cities. I used to travel a lot and meet the people, the lawyers in other cities and all that. But when my friend, a year before that, we had a close friend, he was an engineer. He went, he said, why don't you try too? Because you are qualified also, I think. So then, as I told you, I went to there and then I got the immigrant visa and migrated in 1964 to US.
My father passed away peacefully at the age of 84. He was a well-known immigration newspaper articles and his community work. But to me, he was also an amazing father and a doting grandfather.
My family and I thank you all for your loving thoughts, prayers, and support.
When talking about my uncle, Michael Chacha, I have quite a few fond memories of him. In a studio somewhere I can no longer recall, I remember him pulling me into a soft hug and asking me to say something to the camera. He promised me, with a little mischief in his grin, that it would end up on TV later that day. I remember him taking me to an unremarkable warehouse, and where the garage doors opened to reveal antique and rare cars packed so tightly I as a child could barely squeeze through. As I gawked at the old hood ornaments and names I didn't recognize, he watched in amusement as I took the slice of magic he managed to provide me in. At home, I had to be quiet while he saw clients in the office. I waited for him to invite me in afterwards, and he'd give me that same soft hug next to his desk.
He was known for his complete knowledge on USA Immigration and Nationality Act. And he really helped people in immigration matters with complete passion and integrity. He was a lecturer in India and in USA on immigration laws. He was the author of a book, Guide to USA Visas. And he used to write in many newspapers, including First in India Abroad and now in News India Times and many other papers. Michael Phulwani was honored by the New Jersey law with the Lifetime Achievement Award.
He has also been an asset to our FIA and many associations because in FIA he was the instrumental in converting a joint committee meeting into a Federation of Indian Associations around 1977-78. And thereafter, he has helped in many memorandums to be presented locally, regionally, or nationally, here as well as in India. And by that way, he helped a lot. He also helped other communities, and he helped many of the national promoters to bring the Bollywood over here by his prolific experience and expertise in the immigration matters. We are going to miss him because I don't know who else can replace him, but he has so much love for our community. He has came to so many of our functions, and he was really an icon, I would say, a legend in his own right, and he left behind a legacy larger than his legend. I wish him, Almighty God, keep his soul at his lotus feet and give his family lots of strength to bear this loss.
Your impressions at different stages of your own life and his overall contribution or addition to our community, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Phulwani, what can you say? He was also a very even-keeled man. If he had an opinion about something, it was never overly impassioned. And sometimes people say that sometimes when you're overly impassioned, the point that you're trying to get across gets missed. He was a calculating man, almost always. Extremely deep thinking, extremely calculating, and very even-keeled. Very rarely did I ever see Mr. Phulwani, get extremely emotional one way or the other about something, even in very serious topics. Not to say that he wasn't emotional. He was an emotional man. He was a sensitive man, but he was able to, I think, take matters and issues in stride and compartmentalize them so that he could always, I think, in his opinion, and obviously from a observational point of view, make the most pragmatic decision, make the most response. He was a pragmatist. He was an opportunist. He was an honorable man, and also, in some ways, I would say he was also a curious man. He was always willing to see what new things were out there. On top of an immigration attorney, he was a businessman. He owned kosher Chinese kosher Indian restaurants. Those are not things that everybody can talk about. He had the wonderful Shalom Bombay, moniker, great. So I think that one of the things that you can get out of a person like Mr. Michael Phulwani is that they only come rarely in life. If you're blessed to have the opportunity to interact with people like him, it truly is a privilege. And they don't come around often. And when they do, you try to take as much opportunity as possible to soak in what you can learn from them and what you can absorb from their life. And if you're lucky enough, maybe you can remember some of those stories and pass them on, because they're really almost so precious that they can't just go into oblivion.
Michael was just always incredibly accepting of everyone. I have some, I have some funny stories I can tell you about traveling, with Michael in India. So here I am. You have to understand, 15 years ago, my first trip to India, and I'm a white guy in India, and I'm traveling with Michael, and he's showing me the ropes and everything. And I don't, I can't forget the people who would come and say to him, "Oh, Michael," because in India everyone is very, very proud of their cuisine, from geographical location to geographic location. And Michael would be, someone would say, I want to bring this food, and he would invite them to the hotel, and they would come in to our hotel room with these huge pots of all kinds of different stews and masala, unbelievable. And but he would invite them into into our space and say, "Come on, let's all sit, let's enjoy, let's break bread together." And again, that openness, that acceptance, that flexibility is what drove not just his personality, but it drove the success of his practice over the years, which I think is, that's no secret.
Mallakhamb Federation USA is not just keeping young population healthy by inculcating interest in this sports. It is also serving community in many ways, and young athletes hosted a holiday bake sale to raise funds. Here are some glimpses of that event.
Parikh Hingani. The bake sale is about having a fundraiser where we bake and we we save money so we can get a crash mat.
Hi, my name is Jayadevan Atta. I am one of the coaches at Mallakhamb Federation. Today is a special day for Christmas. We are doing a bake sale and a raffle to support Mallakhamb Federation, and I am happy to be a volunteer for this bake sale. And I am asking anyone who is interested to support Mallakhamb to donate generously or come to 216 Tingley Lane on 25th, 27th, 1st and 3rd in the evening time, and purchase products and help Mallakhamb raise funds. I am very proud to support Mallakhamb Federation with all the coaches to help fitness to our kids. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Shreya Patankar. Mallakhamb was from the 16th century, and it also is a mix of martial arts, yoga, and gymnastics.
My name is Amaya Chaudhary, and I do roller skating, and Mallakhamb helps me a lot with that.
My name is Sharvi, and Mallakhamb really helps you with your flexibility.
This is Gaurav Kulkarni here. I'm one of the coaches. So Mallakhamb is one of the oldest sport which was invented in Maharashtra, and now it's spread globally across the world. In USA, we have multiple branches where we teach Mallakhamb. It was incepted back in 2014 in Edison, and now we have multiple locations across New Jersey as well as United States. So today, what we are doing is today on the eve of 25th of December, we are having bake sale wherein we are trying to sell some bakery products so that we can raise the funds to get some instruments for us. And today's aim is to get a crash mat. So we really appreciate all your support and encouragement to promote this wonderful sports. Thank you, and signing off from New Jersey, Edison. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dean Jaydevan, and there are three types of Mallakhamb. There's the hanging pole, there is a tall pole, and there is a rope. My name is Shlok Chaudhary, and Mallakhamb also gives you mental strength. So because it could help you get over the fear of heights and more stuff.
My name is Rucha Kulkarni, and Mallakhamb gives maximum exercise in minimum time.
I have learned Mallakhamb and I've really enjoyed it.
Hello everyone, thank you to ITV Gold for coming out here and covering our event today. So we, as you can see in the background, we have a lot of baked goods. Our young athletes here at Mallakhamb Federation of USA in our Edison Center and their parents actually have baked these goods. We are trying to spread some holiday cheer. And the kids are enjoying, they're playing some games, and basically, as some of you may know, Mallakhamb Federation of USA is an organization that is promoting the sport of Mallakhamb outside India. We have 7 centers across the USA, and we are trying to grow. We are looking to do a world championship in 2022, and we'll be looking for all your help and support then. Right now, this bake sale that you see here behind me is going to help the center to purchase some safety equipment that we are in need of. So thanks to all the kids and the parents for coming out and supporting us, and thank you to ITV Gold once again.
My name is Apurva, A-P-U-R-V-A, and I also want to give, this isn't possible without our coaches, so I just want to say thank you to our coaches.
Hi, I'm Tejasvi, and I'm here to learn Mallakhamb. Mallakhamb is really fun because you get to learn a lot of new skills.
Hi, my name is Ansh, and I just have to say that I really like Mallakhamb, and I really enjoy it because of the new skills.
Coming from India, Indian cultural roots remain with us all the time. And the form of Bhagwan Dattatreya is synonymous with passion for learning. Learn from all the sources. Stay connected to each and every source of positive energy. That is unifying message of Bhagwan Dattatreya, who is considered to be a unified form of the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, born to sage Atri and Anusuya ji. Datta Jayanti was observed on 29th December. Vishwaguru Viswayogi Viswamjee Maharaj shared his message on Datta Jayanti via Zoom from his ashram at Vishwa Mandir, Guntur in Andhra Pradesh. Take a look.
This is the divine will of Datta, universal power. From that universal power, different religions have come. That power is willing. What is his will? To make this world, the earth, peaceful, healthy, and powerful. Manasa samcharam dramkaram. Manasa samcharam dramkaram. Amulagra sahasrara samcharam. Amulagra sahasrara samcharam. Manasa samcharam. Hridaya grandhi vicheditam. Hridaya grandhi vicheditam. Brahma grandhi paripalitam. Datta. Who is Datta? Dattatreya. So many people are worshipping Dattatreya, the Trinity. If we attain the highest state of spirituality, and then if we think, if we realize the real fact that there is a supreme, universal, cosmic power, universal power, which is pervading through every atom of the universe, which is responsible for the creation of the universe, which is responsible for the maintenance of the universe. That is Datta. Why we call Datta Shakti? There is a meaning in it. If any person wants to attain that universal power into his nervous system, into his body, and become powerful, peaceful, so as he can serve the society properly, if you do sadhana severely, as per the Sanatan Yogic Shastra, the power, the universal power which is existing, every atom of the universe, all pervading, it flows into the nervous system of the person who is doing sadhana severely. It adopts. Datta means in English adoption. Datta means adoption. That power flows and embraces and mixes and merges with the sadhaka, and it makes the person itself.
Time to say goodbye from today's Vision of Asia, but as always, time to also remember that you can stay tuned to us through our Facebook page and also subscribe to our YouTube channel and keep writing events@itvgold.com. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay upbeat. Happy New Year on behalf of Ashok Vyas and ITV Gold family. Take care. Once again, thanks for being a part of Vision of Asia, a voice of the community today. Namaste.